All right. Are you ready for this?
Let's do this.
Okay. Welcome to the Waffle Cafe podcast, your regular plate of healthy, topical fun, debate and banter from Ben and Dave. Thank you for joining us this week. We hope that you had a little listen to our first ever Waffle, now up on our Spotify accounts and every social media leak going out there, including MySpace, Bebo, and was it Friends Reunited, Dave? Do you remember that?
We have put it everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. And I just want to touch on, so while we're recording this, we put it out, the first one, midnight this morning, and we were worried it was going to be our wives that listened, but I'm looking at it now, we've already had 10 plays. So
that's good. Well, 10 plays a day, that'd be 70 plays by the end of the week. Quite good at maths. 280 plays at the end of the month, roughly 300. So you're looking maybe 3,600 by the end of the year minimum.
Big numbers. Big numbers. Or it's just Hannah and Norma have listened to them 5 times each. But you never know. But if you come back and you listen to podcast number 2, thank you.
It is a big thank you, isn't it? It is a big thank you.
Yes.
And we're still waiting for that phone call from Joe Rogan if he wants to collaborate.
It's not come. It's not come.
It's got to come. So those who have if you are the first time listener, just to give you a little insight into what our podcast is about, each week we'll be discussing 10 random topics that we've come up with, which you'll find about very soon. And we both bring our own contributions to the table, and we discuss, we debate, we can argue, we can agree, we can disagree, and hopefully we'll try out each other's recommendations, and hopefully you guys will as well. And that's about it, really. That's about it. Did you have a good weekend?
It was good. It was good. It goes far too quickly. But obviously now, when the weekend happens, all I'm thinking about is recording on a Monday.
Oh, wow. You're getting good sleep for it? I mean, are you just having the record button in your head?
It's a constant. It's been a constant fear, nervousness, everything during the week, getting the first podcast out. But I'm happy it's out there now, and some friends and family have already given some nice feedback on the first one. So I think we're doing a good job.
Yeah, well, I mean, it could be that they just like to listen to your sexy voice and
your wit.
Yeah, well, I don't really want to give myself a big head there, mate, but
I'm here to help.
All right, should we crack on?
Let's get into it.
Here we go. Our first topic of the week is our We Are Have Good Vibe. You got to start singing with me, Dave. Come on, man.
Trust me, no one wants to hear me sing. I'm tone deaf. I'm tone deaf. No one wants that in their ears. Trust me. It's better that way.
Well, this is the topic where we bring you a good news story or a good vibe of the week. Just to start off, everyone, with just a nice bit of happiness, a bit of peace. Just
positivity.
Lovely, isn't it? Positivity. Would you like to share yours first, Dave?
No, not after what happened last week.
Oh, okay.
I think you should go first, seeing how we both accidentally picked the same one last week. So you go first, and maybe I've got the same one as you this week.
Okay, all right, fair enough. If you didn't listen to last week, we both had the same good news story, and yeah, it kind of fell on its face a little bit. Well, okay. Well, my good news story, to be fair, it's been a very quiet week for good news stories. I've just been trying to pick one out, but I thought this one would be quite nice. And also, it's a rugby one. It'd be I think you quite like this. And also, I'm going to push you and encourage you to join it. So, you heard of the rugby league player Rob Burrow?
Oh, of course, rugby league legend.
Yes. So he unfortunately suffers from motor neuron disease.
Yep.
And he has just announced that he has a marathon through Leeds next Sunday, the May 14th, 2023. And it begins at the home of Leeds Rhinos, which I'm going to be really cruel, Dave, and get you to name me the stadium of Leeds Rhinos.
Oh, I'm to be fair, I'm a rugby union man. I do appreciate rugby league. I do, but I don't watch it enough to know the name of their stadium, unfortunately.
And if you were a cricket fan, you would also get this as well because it's the same.
Well, there you go. Everyone knows I don't like cricket.
Anyway, all right. Well, it's going to start and it's going to finish at Headingley Stadium. So there you go. And it's a sport of obviously motor neurone disease charity and its association, and its ex-teammate, which I haven't wrote his name down. Kevin, is it Kevin? Oh no,
Kevin Sinfield.
That's it. It's Kevin Sinfield. He'll be running as well. And he's obviously raised quite a lot of money so far for the same charity. He's done 7 marathons in 7 days in the past, and also a 101-mile run in 1 day. And it's quite amazing. And obviously, it's not a very nice disease to live with. And obviously, the rugby community is quite strong around it. And I think he's just something really lovely and positive that he's trying to obviously, to get through and to spread the message of, his charities, and having obviously people like his teammate support him. And obviously my question to you, Dave, is, are you going to go run it next year?
Oh God, that's putting me on the spot. Because I'm not a long distance runner, but I put in for the London Marathon every year for about the last, I think it's about 7 or 8 years. I never get into it ever. I always get, but I always go put in for it, and I'm like, I don't want to do it. And every year when it says I get my ejection letter, I'm kind of like, got happy about that. But at the same time, I'm like, I want to do it because my wife's done it. She says the day and the achievement is such a big thing. So I'll tell you what, let me think on it.
The thing is, though, this is a bit of payback, right? Because last week you put me into a trap of Facebook and said I come off Facebook because of my mum.
No.
And a couple of people have caught on that you had a little dig at me. So I've put it back in your court, Dave, that especially if you being a rugby man, even though it's a different code, and obviously with Hannah, that she's got one over you with the medal, and you always want to, get into the London Marathon, and you can't get into London Marathon, well, here's your chance. So live on the podcast, will you run next year in the Leeds Marathon for Rob Burrow and his charities?
See, I don't want to
guilt trip.
Yeah, big time. Because it's not the fact I don't want to. It's an amazing charity, everything that's done, but Leeds is quite far away.
No, I'm just joking, man. Honestly, I was just joking. But
I will think about it, and we'll return to this one next week. I'll give you my answer. Let me sleep on it a few times.
No, I do agree, because if it was like a 10K run or something, it's probably quite achievable in a very short. I mean, you've got a year to train, but 26.2 miles of running. I mean,
it's a long way.
Yeah, it is long. It is long, but obviously it's a massive achievement. And yeah, well, that's my good news story of the week, mate.
Okay, so on to mine then. So as you said, it's been a bit slow for good news. So I was having a look and I came across this, and it kind of links into what we were talking about last week with your recommendation and wastage and the plastics. So this is actually, it is from two years ago, but she's still doing it, and what she's done, I think, is incredible. So her name's Amy Bray, and she's one of the UK's leading young environmentalists. And she's founded a charity called Another Way, and opened 2 plastic-free shops called Another Way.
Nice.
And she's also been named Cumbria's Woman of the Year. So that was 2 years ago when she was only 17.
Oh, wow.
So I thought that is good news, definitely, even though it's 2 years old. But when we were talking about last week about how would you get rid of plastics and how would you go to Tesco's and stuff like that to get the food, what she does is so I've got the 4 steps. It's step 1, you weigh your container. So you bring your container. Step 1, weigh your container, print a label, go round, fill it with as much as you can with whatever you want, your cereal or whatever. Then you go back, you scan your label and reweigh the container so it knows the difference, the weight of the product in there, and then you pay and walk out.
It just sort of sounds like it's what they used to do in the 60s and 70s.
Yes.
Like everything weighed, put in the plastic, put it in the paper bag, and off you go.
Yeah.
Like what happened?
People, laziness, convenience, all that type of stuff. So I think if someone of her age is doing something like that, then it's only good if the younger generation now are realizing they have to do something about it. I think going further forward, we'll be in a better position.
It's just a shame there's not more shops like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's weird though. There's a shop in my town, and he's got, I don't know if I feel sorry for the guy, because you go past his store and he's got his 2 big windows. There's not many lights on in there, and he doesn't have a shop sign. I don't even know what the shop's called. And we've walked past there a couple of times. You look in and he could see you, and he waved at us, and we waved back. And inside is like the weirdest collection of stuff that he sells. There's fruit and veg, but then there's like odd toys at the back and stuff. It's a really weird old looking shop, but you can see he's got the old weighing scales, and it's a bit of like a throwback that people go in there with he's got paper bags in there and stuff like that, and he probably doesn't take card. He probably takes shillings or something.
He just sounds like a bit of a Del boy, entrepreneur. He's an entrepreneur. He is.
It is. Well, it's just a very, very random shop, but you don't really get those shops obviously anymore. Yeah, man, that's wicked. Hopefully she might. Do you know if she set it up in a chain, or is it just one store? Or?
It's 2. She's got 2 shops.
Oh, wicked.
She's got 2 shops and the charity, and the charity concentrates on removing plastic waste from the ocean.
So, for her. And she'll be 19 now.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, it's good. All good. Right, so our next topic is Gripe of the Week, where we can both have a good old moan about what has annoyed us. So mine has happened in the past, but it's happened this week to me. It's when people email you and then they follow up with a phone call.
It's a tech one, isn't it? It's a tech one.
Well, it's when they email you and then they follow up with a phone call because you haven't replied to their email in 30 seconds. So I had it this week. So email came in. It's okay. I had a quick read, but I'm doing something more important. So you have to, in any job, you prioritize, don't you? You have to prioritize. Yeah. You have urgent stuff, medium, and low priority. Emails come in. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I'm aware of it. Don't need to do it straight away. Carry on. The person phoned. I didn't pick up the phone, but then the person's phoned for you. Okay, that's fine. They then emailed again saying, I need to speak to you. So I emailed back saying, I'm aware. I'm just waiting. Little white lie. I said, I'm waiting on someone else to give me some information and then I can come back to you. And I think I said I'd come back to them at 2. By about 2:15 or 2:20, they're ringing again.
This has really annoyed you, isn't it?
Well, yeah, because some people like there was it's not quite the week yet, but there is a quote something like it's something along the lines of because you were unprepared, your emergency doesn't become my emergency.
That's quite a good little line. Yeah,
it's something like that. Because you've got an emergency, it doesn't make it my emergency if you weren't prepared enough or whatever. That people just need to, you've had a response. I've responded. I'm aware, and I've said I will come back to you. It's being dealt with. But some people are just so like, and in some I like, obviously I like a talk, I like a chat. Hence why I'm doing a podcast. But not everything requires a phone call. Like an email, a text, something like that is sufficient for most things, isn't it? Am I wrong?
Well, I've got a couple of things about that.
Go on in.
So one thing, it's quite interesting that last week you were moaning about people using social media and relying on other people to give them information and not ringing up themselves. Now you want people to not ring and to just leave emails as it is. So have you Blazing Squad? Have you flip reverse this?
No. There's a difference. because the person is emailing the person that needs help when the people on social media were going not direct to the person.
Right.
If they could have, if they could have emailed the One Stop or sent a Facebook message to the One Stop asking, is the post office open? That's the difference. So the person's doing the correct thing coming to me. They're not going to a third party saying, is David open or whatever, ready for work? He's coming to me and I've responded and said, I'm on it, leave it with me. But that wasn't good enough. Bombardment throughout the day.
It sounds like you feel like you need to police whether it's worth an email or a phone call before they even like get to you. You kind of need like a little filter person, didn't you? Just go, look, just put in the email queue of things to do. It will get to you, but we acknowledged that you've contacted us, so just leave us alone until kind of like we're kind of get around. Right. So like my question to you then, is there a code? Is there like an unwritten code or rule of how long to leave it until we? So say like I say I'm the one who needs your help. I've emailed you. I've maybe dropped you a phone call. You've blanked me. And I've chased up another email to you. How long should I have left that phone call, that email? Like how what's the kind of time cutoff point where I do need to chase you?
Well, every place of work, especially in I think most businesses and IT especially, you have SLAs. So you've got SLAs to meet. And I know where we were when...
What's an SLA?
So it's the time you've got to respond by. You've got service level agreement.
Oh, okay.
So the service level is the time in which they should get a response or a fix or whatever, depending on... Some places have different SLAs depending on if it's like high priority, medium or low. I know our customers, when they sign up in the contract, they're made fully aware of the SLA. So we have a 4-hour to respond.
Right.
To be able to respond. So we don't have to fix the problem. We have to have touch base with them and respond and say, we know you've got a problem. We're looking into it within 4 hours.
So that email you got, they didn't wait 4 hours. They waited how long to the phone call?
Probably about 4 seconds.
What?
Probably
really?
About 4 seconds. 4 minutes.
Okay, yeah, all right, okay. That's a bit like hold your horses.
That's it. But hey.
So my final question to you: what happens if it is like? What happens if I've got like a real serious emergency, like my servers are going down, I'm being hacked by Russia, I need your help, and then if you just go, I've acknowledged your request, and I will get back to you once I've heard from the person above me, and I've made myself a cup of tea.
If you're being hacked by the Russians, then you need the cybersecurity unit. What are they called?
Yeah, cybersecurity. Yeah.
I can't remember what they're called.
So basically, I don't need you. I just need someone.
Yeah, call it MI5. MI5 will deal with it, won't they? Send James Bond or something.
No, all right, you just passed me on. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to know because like someone who doesn't work in IT, that could have been me. I could have chased you up for a phone call after a few minutes and gone, "You're going to reply or what?" So, all right. Well, shall I move on? Shall I share mine?
Yeah. What you got for us?
It's slightly connected to last week's one. Last week's one, I moaned about the amount of charging that I'm doing, and I've had a couple of comments back. My mate Chris has said, "We live in a tech world. Like, what do you expect?" Yes, I get that, but I don't want my minutes and hours spent up charging. Ali, who gave me the worst voice record message on WhatsApp ever. He literally disappeared. He started talking and he went all shy. He thinks that I should just charge everything at night.
That's a good point. Ali, I'm with you.
That's great. But if you use my phone, and that was the point I made last week. The battery cycle on my phone diminishes very quickly, especially with the cold. That's why I have my external battery charger. Okay, so I keep it on charge if I need to. But things like my Aftershocks headphones, they're Bluetooth, and I listen to music so much, I rinse their battery. So that needs charging maybe once, twice a day, maybe. Ooh. So
Jesus, that much twice a day.
Yeah, but in my car I have a CD player, which obviously no one has a CD player these days. And then the auxiliary cable I've stuck in doesn't fit into the iPhone SE that I've got, weirdly. So I connect my AfterShokz up to listen to my Spotify on my phone as I'm driving.
That's
so
dangerous.
It's not. It's noise reduction headphones. You wear them just outside your earlobes. Go on to notanthepelon.com. There's a review on there. You'll see all the tech and geeks and stuff like that.
He's plugging another business again. Plugging another business.
No, because my wife said exactly the same thing. Anyway, you get people with headphones,
okay.
Speaking to Cairo. So yeah. Anyway, so it's kind of set to that. It's the amount of USB connection types. There's too many. Like I have got a basket full of GoPro leads, phone leads, like charging leads, camera leads, and they're all got different ports. And it takes me forever to find the one that fits. Or I leave one in the charging plug or something like that. And it's just too many. Like, where does it end? And like this year, there'll probably be more because some brand out there wants to be different. And it's just more constant amount of, I sound like a right technophobe, but I'm not. Why can't every port just be the same? Maybe you have the answer behind that. There's too many for me. I have too many.
They are trying to make it so I think people sign up to say everything's USB-C, the latest and the new one. But I know Apple didn't want to do that because obviously Apple can charge. I always think with Apple, they like to ring fence everything. It's like it's their stuff or no stuff. It's like their way or the highway type thing. So they don't like sharing or any sorts. They don't want people being able to buy a different cable and they go, oh no, it's for safety or for privacy or whatever. Apple are one of the worst for it. But
you're a fan of Apple, aren't you, Dave? You're a fan of Apple, aren't you?
Oh, massive fan. Love them. Got loads of Apple phones. Not. No, but yeah, I think Apple are one of the worst. I do get it, but yeah, no, company, I think as it goes, I think people are generally moving on to USB-C. So obviously it probably depends on how old, like I know my GoPro is years old, probably like 10 plus years. So that hasn't got USB-C. But I think as the newer stuff, it will roll around to the newer stuff until you said, yeah, someone comes up with a better idea and then everyone will roll over to that.
Well, maybe I just need to sort out my USB basket a bit better. But I've literally, probably like yourself, I bet you've got a lot of leads still, though. I bet you've got just lots of leads. And you just, unless you've sorted them out into, like I said, certain ports, like maybe into like little containers, you're literally just spending ages going, no, not that one. No, not that one. Could be that one. No, not that one.
You need a drawer. Like every guy's got like the drawer, the messy drawer. And in the messy drawer, you will find everything that you need. When the wife goes, I need this, that's in the messy drawer. Pull out the drawer, spend 10 minutes in it, but you find it's in there. There's always the drawer with everything in.
I don't have one, so maybe I need to start negotiating for one, actually.
Empty out, just while the wife's asleep, open the drawer with the cutlery in. Cutlery, that can go somewhere else. That's the drawer.
I mean, that's quite extreme. It's quite an extreme drawer to choose. The cutlery goes, but we'll replace it with the leads because that's going to be more important. Where's the knife and fork? Don't worry, just use your hands.
Put them in the basket. You're going to have empty afterwards.
All right. Okay. Oh well, I'll think about that. But yeah, so yeah, I think that's on the to-do list to change some to sort out my USB basket. But thanks, Dave. Thank you very much for that.
Always here to help.
Cool. Next topic is Tuneage of the Week, where me and Dave, we rifle through our Spotify playlist. And you don't use Apple, do you? Apple Music, Dave? Do you use Apple Music?
No, but shortly the podcast will be available.
Oh, good plug. Good plug. I like it.
We're trying to be available on any of your, whatever service you like to enjoy your music and podcasts on. We aim to be available on it soon. And
we're still looking into Friends Reunited, aren't we?
Well, yeah. I don't know how podcasts will put on that. Half
the audience out of our 10 so far probably remembers that, to be fair, Friends Reunited.
That's way back.
Yeah, That's like one of the very first social platforms. That and MySpace. Oh, I love MySpace. Bring it back. Bring it back. No, that's not my bring it back this week. Anyway, tunes of the week. It could be old. It could be new. It could be an album. It could be a track. It could be from any era. It could be from any genre. We're gonna make a little playlist of our recommendations, so you guys can have a little listen in of just all our recommendations, and just to broaden your music horizons, if you like. Shall I share mine first, David?
Yep, happy for that.
So I've gone a bit rocky, not rocky as in Sylvester Stallone. I mean rocky as in
Adrian.
Yeah. So I've gone back to the year 2000. No, that's year 3000. Yeah, I've gone back to the year 2000. I do like my rock. I do like a bit of new metal. So I'm not too sure it's something up your street. What's your feelings on Linkin Park, Dave?
Oh, okay. No, well, with who do they do the that collaboration with?
Jay-Z.
Oh, that was good.
Right. Okay. So it kind of shows you actually with Linkin Park, they have had quite a few collaborations, and they did the soundtrack. They was in the soundtrack to 2 Transformers films. I've gone back to their debut album of Hybrid Theory. It might be a bit raw for your listening ears, and it's borderline a bit screamo. And I'm not into screamo, right? Okay, I'm not an emo. I'm not sitting there with like Black Eyes, maybe a little bit like Panda. Like it's sort of borderline, but I was really into a bit of new metal. It's sort of like a golden era for new metal. You had like Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park. There was a few other bands like POD. Like America had this kind of like influx over here of like some new metal bands, and I really like Linkin Park. I've always followed them, and sadly, you must have come across their lead singer Chester Bennington. He died a few years ago.
Was that? That was suicide, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I think they still release some stuff now, but obviously probably like a different lineup. But their debut album Hybrid Theory was really, really good. Standout tracks, Crawling, Paper Cut, and In the End for me are really good. And it was just a real good start for them, really. And their next album, Meteora, was really good. If you're feeling a bit ragey, Dave, if you're feeling a bit angry, if your kids have been pooing up the wall and, you just feel like you just want to get stressful and go mad.
I don't know what kids doing that.
Well, no, don't stick it on for your kids, because your kids will probably be like, punk rocking it out. But I'm quite a big fan of Linkin Park, and I've been trying to go through their discography. I can never say that word. Discography. I've been trying to go through all their albums and just listen to them all. That's my thing at the moment, is find an artist or a group and just listen to their whole catalog, and then obviously just click in favorite songs out of it. So there's my recommendation. What's that? 22 years ago as well. Over to you then.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah,
that's a long time ago.
What you got for me?
I've gone single song again.
Single again.
Yeah, I'm going to wait to pull out. I'm going to wait to pull out the albums. I'm going to start off small and work my way up.
Okay.
So I've gone for AJ Tracey.
Okay.
Dinner Guest featuring Mo Stack.
Okay.
Have you heard it or not?
I've come across the artist. I don't think I've come across that track. So
it's a good track. It's obviously the video. The video for me is they've got, like when you've got those what they call the wobble heads. So they got the normal size bodies, and then they got the oversized heads, and then they're bobbling along. Like the
Churchill dog.
Yeah, they've got those in the video.
Okay.
The video is really funny, but the song is, love the track as well. Very good song.
R&B, hip hop, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's sort of like a UK sort of a bit. It's not grime, sort of like R&B, hip hop type of thing. People are always shouting, going, "No, it's not. No, it's not." But it's all, it's down to the listener, isn't it? How they feel about it.
It's very artistic of you to say.
Well, yeah, no, I just don't want to get shouted at by listeners saying I'm wrong and I'm an idiot. So, but yeah, no, that's my tune of the week.
And when would you? What kind of mood would you listen to that track in, or like what kind of time of the year? I mean, I'm assuming not. I'm assuming not Christmas Day.
Probably not Christmas Day. No, you're not going to have it when all the family are around. Probably in this nice summer's evening, we sit in the garden, a few drinks, get wanting to progress into a little bit of a party mood.
Okay. Okay. All right.
To annoy the neighbours. It's a good night. Yeah, a good sort of. It's got a good beat and rhythm going to it.
Nice. I'll remember that when Raff Island is having some massive rave up fest. Although it's not really like that around here, Dave. It's just sheep.
Quite life. The sheep might like it.
There you go. Well, we're gonna create a playlist, aren't we, this week? So that
we'll start adding them.
Yeah, that and my album will be on there. And just, I think you got a confession to make, and you, Dave. Did you listen to my recommendation last week?
Of course I didn't.
Yeah.
I'm a very busy man.
Yeah. But I did listen to yours.
And yeah. I got silence says everything.
No, I've added it to my playlist, and I'll give it a few more listens. It does sound like the start of Tetris, and I love the lyrics feature on Spotify where you can read lyrics with it.
You just want you want the lyrics because you think you're just going to be the next big UK rapper, star.
Yeah, I just like looking into the lyrics a bit and just seeing if it is just full of waffle. There's a plug, or actually it does make a bit of sense. There is another JME track. I'll find it for you next time. It might be my recommendation next week.
Keep it quiet then.
But yeah, he's quite good actually, to be fair. So you've got some catching up to do, David, haven't you?
I do. All
right.
Better homework next time. Okay, so our next topic is footage of the week. So this is where we will recommend a TV or film, old or new. So it's basically just trying to give you recommendations of what we've liked to watch in the past or recently. You should go and check it out. So I think last week we kind of like made each other guess what the other one had got.
Yes.
So I think we'll continue that because I like that. Okay. So mine is ran from 2001 to 2003.
So it's another TV series.
It is a TV series.
Right. Okay. All
right. It ran for only 2 series.
So that narrows it down.
And 14 episodes.
What, in total, 14 episodes?
Yeah.
So was it 7 episodes per series?
Yes. Oh no, I think it was 6, but there was 2 specials. Two, I think it was 2 Christmas specials.
Christmas specials?
Yeah.
Is it a comedy?
Yes.
Okay, I don't really have any guesses yet. Can I have a little bit more information?
What you need to stick to is the clue is the 2 series, because there's someone that until recently when he does his things, so he stars in them, writes them and directs them, and all his stuff is he only ever does 2 series and never brings them back for more. Until recently he has done a third of his last one.
I'm thinking Ricky Gervais.
You're correct. It is Ricky Gervais.
Is it? It's not that show Derek, is it?
No, that's too new.
And there was more. It was more episode. It was more series of The Office than that.
No.
Is it The Office?
It's The Office.
And there's only 2 seasons of it.
Ricky Gervais only ever does two series of stuff because he doesn't want stuff to get stale. So I think The Office, Derek. What else did he do? I can't remember. But he only ever does 2 series until recently. So Afterlife, his latest one, was meant to be 2 series, but everyone gave him such a hard time. He's done a third, and I think there's rumour he might be doing a 4th. But normally he only ever does two series of stuff because he doesn't want to get it, making it stale. So The Office, it was written by him and his good friend Stephen Merchant, who was also brilliant. Stephen Merchant wasn't in it, but he's written other stuff now and he starred in it. And basically the program follows the day-to-day lives of the office employees. Can you remember where the office was based? Slough. Can you remember what they sold?
Was it photocopying paper?
Paper company.
Right. Okay.
And you're doing well at this.
Well, I've only watched a few episodes. I tried to get into it once, and I just felt so awkward watching it because that's the kind of comedy it is, isn't it?
Yes.
Like dry, awkward comedy.
Yeah. It's just because it centers around Gervais, who stars in the series, and he plays the boss, David Brent, and he's the boss of he doesn't own the company. It's a nationwide company, but he's the manager of that office, and he's completely awkward, and no one ever would manage in the style that he manages in. Yeah, it's comedy royalty, comedy gold, and high up there for me. Apparently, I did, when I was doing my little bit of research, it didn't actually take off straight away, and it was a bit of a flop, and it built up over time, and people then understood and actually got how good it was.
It's a bit of a cult thing, isn't it? And like the way it's shot, I bet anyone who doesn't know Ricky Gervais probably actually thinks it's a real documentary.
Well, yeah, probably, yeah, because it is kind of filmed. Yeah, you're right. It is kind of filmed sort of like it's almost like a fly on the wall type thing. Yeah, reality TV almost. And I mean, it got picked up, and they did an American version of it. So there's an Office version in the US as well. So
I'm gonna question you here, Dave. Do you know who stars as David Brent version and the US version?
I think his name, I can picture him. I think his name's, is it Stephen Carell?
Well done, very good.
It is good.
Yeah,
good.
It's Steve Carell. Yeah, well done,
Stephen Carell. Yeah, he's a funny guy as well.
And have you seen? I've seen the clip because it's a bit of viral. Have you seen the clip where they do a crossover of the British and the US Office?
I don't think I have actually. I think I need to look into that.
There's a scene, I think, when David Brent is in the US Office series, and he comes out of the lift, or he's going into the lift, and they cross over each other and they meet, and their characters basically stay in character, obviously. And it's quite funny because they're both very awkward, and they both want to obviously be more funny than the other one. And like, it's try track it down if you can, because it's quite I think you'd quite like that. Did you like the American one or no?
No, I did. I watched that as well, and I think obviously it was different, but it was still, the basis was the same, as obviously the manager being completely awkward and not having any idea, and he's got even his sidekick, the next in command, is an idiot, and then there's people that work there that are obviously far too intelligent to work there and do these subtle digs at them, and they don't even understand what's going on. I almost had for my quote of the week one of David Brent's quote, but I stayed away.
Well, I'm glad you stayed away, because that would just been a bit too much, Dave.
Too much David Brent.
I think he's a bit of a Marmite comedian, isn't he, Ricky Gervais? Some people don't like his style of comedy, whether it be stand-up or his TV shows, because he's quite dry, he's quite blunt, isn't he? And like, I remember, I didn't watch it, but obviously being aware of his, because he hosted the Oscars a couple of years ago.
Do you think? I think he does Golden Globes.
Oh, is it Golden Globes?
I think he does the Golden Globes, and those are very fun. Do you think Will Smith would have slapped him?
Oh.
I think Gervais could have taken Will Smith.
I don't think he would have. I don't, because Will Smith doesn't really have any link to Ricky Gervais. Where we were going off topic here a little bit. Because him and Chris Rock would have been in the same sort of circles with sort of comedy acting and stuff. So there would have been a sort of bit of a history there, whether it be friendship or maybe they didn't get on. But Will Smith and Ricky Gervais would have never crossed over. So he might have like brushed it off. Again, do you know what? It all stemmed from Jada Pinkett Smith's reaction back to Will Smith, wasn't it? That she gave him the eye, and it was like, what the hell are you gonna do? Because he laughed, didn't he? He laughed.
He laughed, and he was like, I need to defend my woman. She's angry, and I don't want to get told off when I get home. He fell
into a big trap, and he either should have brushed it off, maybe if he wanted to stand up for his wife, maybe he just said, look, that was uncalled for, kind of thing. You know what I mean? He could have stood up that way. He could have walked out,
He should have, what he should have, in my opinion, my humble opinion, I think he should have walked up like he did and whispered in his ear and said, "You need to apologise for that now," and then gone and sat back down.
And then the mic would have picked that up as well, wouldn't they? They would have, because that wasn't like a little tap on the shoulder. Like he proper. I mean, I've seen viral clips of like slap fighting championships.
Yeah,
when people like get knocked out. I mean, that was a hit, and I've got to be honest. Chris Watt stands up. I mean, I'd have probably been knocked out by that hand, but again, we're going off slightly off topic, and actually, it's a bit of a memory. I've only been slapped on the face once in my life, and you were there. You don't remember, do you?
Oh, come on.
So it's a year 7 disco.
Oh God. As if I'm going to remember Year 7 disco.
But you were there, and this was like the moment of the night, right? So it was Year 7 disco. It was organised by Year 11s for their like business enterprise thing, all right? And so everyone bought a ticket to go. It was like within like the first month of Year 7. It's like a freshers thing for Year 7s, but it was weird. So I remember going, and they had like bits of food, like sandwiches and stuff like going on. And I went to kind of maybe go and get one or something. I can't remember. I had this tap on my shoulder from this girl. I turned around, never met her in my life. I forgot her name. And she goes, "Did you throw a sandwich at my head?" And I went, "No." And she just went, Will Smith, round my face. And I went, "What?" I said, "What was that for?" And I think I swore back. And she's like, "You threw a sandwich on my head." And I was like, "I don't even know you. Like, why would I throw a sandwich at your head?" Like, and like I was so shocked, and my face felt just hot red sting. To be fair, I was about to say I'm not proud of it, but you know what? I am proud of it. I went and told the teacher. There's a few teachers there, and so I went up to the teacher and said, like, "This girl's just slapped me," and then she's got a, you know, and then obviously she's like got into it and said, "You know, what are you doing?" Like, what? I think I don't know, I can't remember if she apologized or not, but it was such a shock. I remember going home and my mum going, "Did you have a good time?" And I just went, "What, slapped by a girl?"
I bet your mum was going to think it was for something else, not.
Oh, well, yeah. So fair play to Chris Watt for standing up, because I've been there and it freaking hurts. So yeah, have you been slapped in the face before, Dave?
Nah, I'm too smooth for that. Smooth criminal.
Yeah, you don't throw sandwiches at people's heads, do you?
Nah, never.
To be fair,
I wouldn't waste it. I'd be
eating
it. One
thing we didn't find out was actually who did throw sandwich at her head, because it wasn't me. I never knew her, and I was a nice boy in Year 7. I wasn't gonna do that.
You know anyway. What? You do know how like the police open up old investigations and stuff. Maybe on this podcast we can open up the incident of sandwich thrower, and we might be able to find out who did it.
I'll be up for that, because I still feel that burn on my cheek.
Okay, if any of the listeners have information, call 0800. No one cares, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
Thanks. Well, I mean, I'm still suffering from PTSD. I will never be able to go to a Year 7 disco again. So
that'd be weird if you did.
Oh, exactly. No. Well, I'm a teacher by trade. I might have to one day, but
true.
Right, we've gone right off the topic, but let's go back to mine. Right, so my recommendation is a new film.
Okay.
Yes, new. Like brand new.
Brand new.
So every Friday you've got the new releases on Netflix, Amazon, and stuff like that, haven't you? Right, they'll drop them at the same time. So me and my wife, we always spend about half an hour just flicking through everything. Oh, I know, like you just think like, what am I doing? And it can be really bad. But I came across this. I didn't even know it was out. It's a new film on Amazon, starring Chris Pine. Do you know who Chris Pine is?
I recognise the name.
If I said Star Trek.
No, I wouldn't know that.
Oh, God. What else has he been in? He was also in a Jack Ryan film a few years ago. He's been in a few things. He was in spy action film with Tom Hardy. You would recognise him. And also he's got Thandie Newton. She was in Mission Impossible 2 as the sort of like the romance character.
Okay.
This is really going over your head, isn't it? Anyway, it's called All the Old Knives, right?
Okay.
And it is a CIA spy thriller. with a little bit of
Ooh.
romance thrown in.
Ooh.
And we were really pleasantly surprised. It was a really good little film, good little twist. I quite like my sort of like spy thrillers and CIA sort of stuff. If I was thinking it would be like a bit of an action film, it's not. It's just a lot of twist, suspense, who to believe, who's betraying who's telling the truth. Just looking back at the plot, everything kind of connected, and there wasn't. I can't. There was never one moment or one scene that didn't really feel out of place and didn't really feel like it slowed the plot down. It was all very well shot, very well told, very well acted. It's a really good little film, mate. It's on Amazon Prime, all the old knives, and it's really a really good little find. It hasn't had a lot of promo. You really probably wouldn't know it's on there, and it's 2022 release, so it's relatively brand new. So
when you were saying there about, you know, it's like a thriller and then it all like makes you think or whatever, because I always find that some of these films or whatever, that you can guess what's going to happen like halfway through, who the killer is or what the plot is or what's going to happen. Did it have that, or was it literally kept you guessing right till the end to find out however the situation needed to be finished? And
I'm not going to obviously give away the plot. Yeah. There is a bit of a double twist at the end. So did you
figure it out, or no? You needed to watch the end to.
You have a few guesses, because there's a few red herrings thrown into the plot, like who's telling the truth. Basically, like there's this terrorist attack, and there's a mole somewhere in the CIA headquarters in.
Of course, there is. There's always a mole.
Yeah, I think it's in Austria. So they're trying to find the mole, but everyone's kind of got like a bit of a story, or everyone's kind of their alibi is not great, and there's a love interest between the two main characters, and you don't know if both are telling the truth, they're both lying, are they betraying each other, or are they both in on it, or they got nothing to do with it. And my wife actually she had a theory right at the start, and she was right, but kind of for the wrong reasons, because the double twist we didn't really see. So it is a really good film that you will kind of be guessing to the end, or just be doubting your own judgment if you've got it right or not. So and it's not confusing. It's quite easy to follow in the end. So yeah, it was a really good little watch, good little find.
I'll try and actually get to that on the weekend, because we try to watch like a film or something over a weekend once the kids have gone to bed. So
yeah,
I'll try and
it's there's a few little sex scenes in there, Dave. All right, okay.
Oh, okay.
All right, so just putting it out there, mate.
You have to get permission to watch that then.
Oh, okay. Well, might be past your bedtime for that sort of stuff. I'll try and give The Office another go for you, okay?
I'll
try that.
I think it's probably timeless. I think the comedy for The Office would still play out today.
All right, okay. I'll get on it, mate. Right, on to our next discussion. Our next topic is Back It Bring, which, if you read it backwards, is Bring It Back. And we have looked into our past. We've dived into that magic 8 ball, and we have trying to decide something we want to bring back from our childhood, or it could be from last week, something we don't really come across anymore. And it could be from anywhere, from any era, any genre, any topic, any walk of life. Just something that we'd love to bring back into our lives that gives us a little bit more entertainment, happiness, or just to bring it back, really, isn't it, Dave? So
we want it back. It's missing from our lives, and we need it again.
Yeah, like cassette tapes. No one's missing cassette tapes. Would you like to share? Do you want me to share mine first? You'll like mine, actually. Go on then,
if I'm gonna like it.
I had a big sort of thought of thinking what I don't have anymore. And I'm quite a big PlayStation fan. I went through a phase a few months ago of playing it quite a lot, but it's just time. And one game I grew up with on the PlayStation 1, and I absolutely adore this game. It was so good. It's a bit rigid, but oh my, so much fun. And they did release a few more versions of this. It's a car game, Dave. I don't know if you're getting close to what you think it might be.
On PlayStation 1, that's like
PlayStation 1. You had a car. you had circuits you go around, and then always the final race was always a big bowl, a big round bowl that everyone would just be in.
It's not like a
Come on. It's in
the derby. What's it called?
Come on. It's right on you've got it in your head, and you're not going to say, are you? Destruction Derby.
That's it. Do you know what I was going to say? Like Kentucky Derby, but that's a horse race.
Yeah, no. Destruction Derby. Did you ever play it, Dave?
I did. Yes. Just crashing cars up for hours on end.
I used to go to my friends like when I was at that age, and we should just, because you used to get the split screen, and we used to just play obviously just on there. And I used to think that game was absolutely brilliant. And there is another game I looked at. It's on PS4 on 5, I think, called Wreckfest. It's basically Destruction Derby, but I don't think you could beat the classic, like just the stock cars getting smashed up. So
they don't do ones like that anymore, do they? They're more like the Formula One or Need for Speed, like the modifying and racing. It's more like the precision.
Well, that Wreckfest is similar to Destruction Derby, and I might download it next month, maybe as a little treat to myself. But I'd happily download Destruction Derby again. Apparently, it was released on the PlayStation Network in 2007, but that was 15 years ago. I haven't had a chance to see if it's on the PlayStation Store, and I kind of doubt it. That was one of my favorite. That was one of my favorite games. That was just like, I love that. That was so cool. And like, the guy at the end, because your stock car would get smashed up, people would spin you. Unless you get points as well. If you spin someone 360, you get points. But then if your back, if your rear is all smashed up, then you can't like turn properly. So it was actually someone that actually was quite realistic in terms of the damage for something such a rigid old game. It was actually quite. The gameplay wasn't as like arcade, if you like. So it was really good. And I just thought of all the games that bring back, I'd love to play Destruction Derby again. So
it might be there. It might be there though. You haven't checked the.
Well, if it is, if it is, I don't mind skipping a bill this month and just buying Destruction Derby.
It might be free. If there's something like that, it might even be free because it's so old. You might not even have to. Have to pay for it.
I'll research after, and if I'm too busy next week playing Destruction Derby to do the podcast, I apologise, mate.
It'd just be me by myself.
Not a bad thing, mate. What is so? What's your back it bring for this week?
Right, mine is. It's been retired. It has been gone since 2003. So we both like our holidays, going traveling and whatnot. So what I would bring back is faster travel in the way of Concorde.
Oh,
Concorde. So Concorde retired in 2003 it retired from service because it was basically British Airways and Air France that retired it because it had a couple of, I think they had a couple of fires from memory on Concorde. And I
think it was more than that, Dave. Like there was a big crash in France, wasn't there?
Was it the crash? Was it?
Yeah, there's a major crash that one of them actually went into, I think, like a hotel just out of the runway in France. I remember that. Because it had like an immaculate safety record, didn't it?
Yes, that was a thing. It did, and I knew there was a fire, but I couldn't remember it was a crash. But yeah, so it was British Airways and Air France that retired them because they were blaming there was like a downturn in people wanting the fast travel, and then there was they were saying there was an increased cost of maintenance. But do you know? So like on a normal, so going from the UK, like London to New York. Do you know the normal time for that on a normal plane? How long the flight is?
Isn't it something like 8 hours?
Yeah, it's eight hours. Do you know what the record set by Concorde in 1996 was to go from London to New York?
I'm going to say 2 hours, 45 minutes.
Oh, you're very good with stuff like this, aren't you?
Right, am I spot on?
No, not spot on, but not far off. It's 2 hours, 52 minutes and 59 seconds. You could have just given me it.
You could have just said, round it up. Yeah.
Nah, I'm not giving you anything. You've got to work harder for that. But yeah, 2 hours and 52 minutes. So, I mean, the saving on time, yes, it was expensive. and it was mainly, I mean, it was back in the day, so it ran from 1969 to 2003. Wow. So, and it was more for sort of business people traveling between like London, like the London Stock Exchange and the New York Stock Exchange. It was, the prices were for like bankers to do deals and stuff like that. So it was worthwhile for them to spend the money. They had the money to spend, and they could get there and back so quickly within a day. But obviously, as time progress, people can do stuff online now and whatever. So that was due to the downturn. But I mean, no one wants to spend, like, when you're going on holiday, you don't want to have to spend, especially with kids, 8 hours on a plane. If it was possible to do supersonic airline travel in 1969, why can't we bring that back? Why?
I can't believe that. That's amazing. That was so old. 1969 was the first flight.
March 2nd, 1969, Concorde flew, and it ran to 2003 when it was retired.
Now, my mum still lives sort of under the flight path. So I obviously used to live there, my mum, and I remember daily seeing Concorde come over our house, because it used to take off at Heathrow. Obviously, it depends on the wind direction, but it used to take off to Heathrow, and it used to bend round, and it actually used to go straight over our house. And the noise, the deafening noise, would stop traffic. You walk down and you just hear that roar. It was just amazing to see this Concorde, and it was something. And I remember showing it to my school class last year, and because I was like, "Oh, do you guys ever heard of Concorde?" I can't remember what we came. I think we're looking at streamlining, aerodynamics. And I said, "Oh, do you ever guys? We went off topic and went, oh, do you ever remember Concorde?" And they're like, "No." And I was like, "Oh, you've got to watch this." So I stuck it on YouTube. And I said, like, listen to the roar, and like obviously look at the design of the plane and stuff like that. But yeah, just the noise. I remember just stopping, like going down to the shop and just looking up and thinking, wow, that is just like, the noise itself was epic. Yeah.
Because there's no planes that look like it now, is there? They're all pretty standard. That was so like sleek and whatever, and obviously it had to be be able to do the supersonic speed.
Yeah. And I remember your best mate, Jeremy Clarkson. No, he said about the Bugatti Veyron, that was like the Concorde moment for motoring, wasn't it? About when the Bugatti Veyron was released, that was a Concorde moment. This won't ever happen again.
Yeah. And
so do you think that's it? There will be no version of Concorde or anything like that?
No, there's been stuff. There's always stuff I've seen in the past that there's like people going, oh, this plane is being designed, it's coming, it's going to be the new Concorde, and it will come out in whatever year. But I don't think anything ever seems to happen, because I think, like British Airways and Air France said, that there's the downturn in it. The cost involved, I don't think people are just going to use that for a holiday. It would need to be comparable to prices. You're only going to do it if it's going to be quick for the super rich, really.
Yeah.
Imagine going from like London to Australia in a matter of hours rather than having stopovers and all sorts.
Yeah.
And taking a day.
I like how your back it bring is based on kids on a plane. Do you want 8 hours of kids on the plane, or do you want a few hours?
A few hours every day of the week.
Oh dear. It's a good back it bring, Dave.
Thank you.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Neither do I. Okay, so that now brings us into Win at Life. So this can be a life hack, tip, recommendation, just something that we think you need to know to improve your life that you could be missing out on.
Listen to this podcast is one of them, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's got to be. We aim to please. So last week I recommended Miller and Carter, and then I thought it's quite expensive. So I've gone. It's another recommendation, but I've gone completely the other end of the spectrum. So I've gone for the cheapest of the cheap.
Right.
So Lidl.
Okay.
It's not my recommendation. Lidl's not my recommendation, even though Lidl is fine. It's something that Lidl sell.
Okay.
Have you ever actually been in there and bought any of their alcohol?
I'm just trying to work out which one's Lidl and which one's Aldi.
They're very similar, aren't they?
Yeah, and they've both got the same colours.
I know it's not very good marketing on their part, is it? Really?
I don't. And what do we have here? Do we have Lidl here? Because I'm in Northern Ireland and I've never seen. I think we have Lidl here. I've been in the Lidl. Okay. Have I ever had any of their alcohol? No, I haven't.
Okay. So my recommendation is they have a premium beer called Pils. Pils. And I don't know if it's like, I think it's like probably rip off of, is it Pilsner?
Is it also just a joke as well? I mean, like, if you go to a mate, do you fancy a bottle of pills? They'll probably think you've got problems.
They might do, but obviously we've gone through a cost of living rise.
Right, okay. And you're looking at the most important things in your shopping list. I see where you're going. I see where you're going now.
I might buy a lot of alcohol. I might like a bit of a drink.
I've seen your Instagram stories, yeah.
Yeah, I do. I am partial to fruity cider or a beer. Yeah, so a bottle of pills before the cost of living rise. Do you know how much you can get a bottle of their pills for?
Hang on, before I answer, are you telling me the price has gone up after the cost of living? This bottle of pills has actually gone up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So before the cost of living, the bottle of pills.
Yeah. So what is it like? Really... A bottle of beer, like the small ones, like the 330 ml.
Oh, is that like the little French beers, like little French?
No, the tall thin ones.
Right. Okay. Oh, okay.
So like a bottle, like if you get the small bottles of Beck's.
Yeah. Okay.
Like that kind of size. How much would you expect a bottle of beer to be?
Well, I'm just gonna 90p.
They were 59p.
Oh my.
59p. So Hannah bought them off the off chance once, thinking, I mean, 59p, yeah. It's got to be garbage.
Mars bars are more expensive than that.
I know, it's got to be garbage. Do you know what? It's my recommendation because it's not that bad at all. It's gone up now. They're now 99p. So this is obviously
doubled in price. Doubled. I know it's still cheap, 99p, but they've doubled it in price near enough.
Cost of living, mate. Cost of living.
Jeez.
The bottle probably costs more. The beer costs more to produce. Everything.
Okay.
But because I went so expensive last week, I thought I need to tone it and bring it back down. But yeah, I mean, it's not the best beer, but I mean, for 59p, if you are on a budget and you like a drink or whatever, it is perfectly drinkable. There's nothing wrong with it. If you started off with the hard stuff and you're already drunk and you don't really care about the taste anymore, go on to these, save yourself some money.
But we're going on the basis of your expectation of beer level.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like beer, really.
Right.
So, I mean, I used to be quite into like different ales. But I don't really like beer. I drink Guinness, but only if I put a bit of Ribena in it, because it's got to taste nice. I mean, I can't taste like I'm drinking someone's sock. You know what I mean? It's like some beer, like the back end of beer. Oh, God, memories of that. So describe the taste of this bottle of pills. I mean, is there a taste or is it just what?
Well, it's a lager. So you think like Foster's.
Oh, so it's like drinking plain Foster's. I can't do that.
A lot of people just drink plain beer, Ben. They don't have to spice it up with.
And I find that so boring. I find that so boring. Like I just feel like I said, I feel like I'm just sucking on someone's old sock. I mean, it just tastes rank. I'm not being no offense because you love you. I mean, if I bought you a crate of Foster's, you'd drink them no problem, would you? I mean, you'd be absolutely fine.
I can't actually. I wouldn't be fine. I'd be on the floor.
Okay, yeah, all right.
But for listeners know, I'm now allergic. I have to. My diet is now gluten free, so I can have gluten free beer. Okay. So if you brought me a crate of gluten free Foster's, then yes, I would drink that.
All right, but in the past, you wouldn't have complained, would you?
No, to be fair, my brother's always said that I would eat out of a bin. He said that I'm really, when it comes to food and drink, I'm not that fussy, to be fair. So yeah. I'm saying this pills is all right. But this might go and have it and go, okay. That is like dog crap.
If I'm in So I think the nearest Lidl to me is Banbridge, I think, which is not too far. I will have a look for the bottle pills and I will try it. So obviously we're kind of off over Easter, so I will try and make that trip just for you.
Oh, okay.
All right, okay, for a bottle of pills. I mean, for 99p beer.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't really. I mean, should I be drinking it on a park bench somewhere
with your bottle of White Lightning?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or Cracker Jacks or something, or whatever it's called. All right, okay. I like how you've gone from high end to low end products.
Maybe I'll go medium next week.
Jeez. Right. So my little life tip is quite short, quite sweet, and it's actually not from me. So my colleague last year, who I talked with, Kirsty, who's kindly has listened to the podcast today, she is kind of reminded me. She taught me something about WhatsApp that I wasn't doing. Mm-hmm. So obviously we've sent each other voice note recordings. This is something that it just shows my naivety and I'm not a technophobe, but like these little tips and stuff like that just has completely changed how I use WhatsApp when I do voice recordings. I used to hold the button of voice recording, right?
Oh dear. And is this even a tip?
It is a tip because like there are probably people out there like me who are still holding on the microphone button on WhatsApp. And then if your finger slips, that's it. It's done. Like, you can't really get it back and you have to start again or whatever. So she recognized I did this and she goes, you do know you can just flick. I was like, what do you mean? So like you flick the microphone button up and then it comes into like a recording feature and you just obviously speaking to that. Did you do that?
Well, yeah, because if you hold down, what did you think the big padlock above the button meant?
I don't think it used to be like that. I think in like the old versions of WhatsApp before you get obviously your updates and stuff like that. It was like hold the button. I don't know. No one's ever taught me that. No one's shown me that. So I was holding the button for so long because we used to send each other messages about the class because obviously we would work different days, and if we and this is maybe kind of a solution to your gripe at the start is people maybe leaving you some voice recordings about like the problem. I don't know, but we should do that and just like tell each other like the changeovers of the class and what they're at and what work needs to be done and stuff. It's just really quite easy. Otherwise, we'll be typing forever.
Yeah.
So she used to tell me you used to go flick, and it just completely changed my life.
Well, because then you could be hands free.
Yeah, I completely changed my life, and I don't know where I would be without a colleague like that. To be fair.
And now you've thanked her on air.
Yeah.
In front of everyone.
Yeah, so. Yeah. And do you know the chances are she probably won't be listening to this podcast. So she probably just listened to the first one and that's it, gone now. So might have to hint to her, you might want to listen to episode 2, really. So.
I've name dropped you.
Yeah. So hi Kirsty.
Hello.
I did use your flick and of the WhatsApp. So yeah, you can shut up now. So there you go. Right, so on to our next topic, instant replay. We're both sporting nuts and we've both been to a lot of sporting events over the years, actually. I remember doing a massive list of which ones I've been to. I've been to so many different sporting events and seen it on TV. You just got to be in the moment, ain't you, Dave? Sport is just drama, isn't it? Get the right moment, get the right sport. Brilliant to watch, isn't it?
If you enjoy sport, you can't beat watching it live.
Yes.
You can't be watching it live and soaking up the atmosphere of the rest of the people there and cheering on your team or the player who's supporting you. Definitely.
Well, my instant replay is actually from somewhere I actually was live.
Okay.
And so back in London, I used to coach an under-10s team years and years ago. And I had them for about 3 or 4 years. And we had our under-10s, our last season, we won the league. And it sort of extended their development. I'm still going off the topic a little bit, but they're such a really great bunch of kids and the parents and stuff. And one of the seasons I had with them, as a thank you to me, they all got me a ticket to go see Chelsea versus Barcelona of the Champions League semi-final in 2009.
Ooh.
Now, one of the dads actually had a season ticket, so he managed to get, that's why they managed to kind of get an easy ticket. And they presented me this ticket after a game or a training session, I remember. And I was like, oh, wow, like, I get to go see a Champions League semi-final. Like, I'm not a Chelsea fan. I was more of a Barca fan back then. I loved Messi, Iniesta, and all those guys. So I was like, wow, yeah, Champions League semi, like, who can say they've gone to like something like that? So we went there with the dad. The dad's a Chelsea fan. And we sat in, I can't remember what stand it was, but it was on the side of the pitch behind the dugouts a bit more middle up. And it was a really dramatic game. And any Chelsea fan listening would probably switch off right now because Barca won on away goals. I think it was 0-0 in the first leg and Barca won away goals 1-1. Now, in the first half, do you remember Michael Essien?
I remember the name.
Yeah, he was a great midfielder. He scored this blinding volley that you'll never see. You get some people on viral goals and will go, oh, do you remember this goal? And they'll show a goal like Dennis Bergkamp done or Eric Cantona and stuff. This goal by Marco Essien, he volleyed it from like 25 yards and it's bounced in off the bar like Tony Yeboah. Mm-hmm. And it's never played. Try and have a look. It's like a wicked goal. And I remember the whole crowd just like, whoa. And like Chelsea were buzzing, they were like 1-0 up. And then second half come, Barca started getting back on the foot. Messi was playing. The ref had an absolute nightmare. He wasn't given any fouls. They must have had 2 or 3 blatant Chelsea penalties not given. Marco Ballack went nuts at the ref, was like charging over him. Drogba was going a bit crazy with him as well. The ref got like a lot of abuse. About maybe 5-10 minutes to go, ball come to Iniesta at the edge of the box and it's the outside of the foot and it's sort of gone up straight to the top corner and the Barca crowd has gone nuts and everyone's gone silent apart from me and I've just gone, oh! And then I've realised, hang on, actually, I'm not a Chelsea fan. And maybe I just go, and I just kind of like sort of, because I got half up because from the shock of them scoring, but no one else was getting up. And I was like, okay, just get back down again. But it was like proper drama. And then obviously, after that, they had, I think Chelsea had a disallowed, a penalty wasn't given and crowd was going crazy. And everyone was miserable apart from me because I just thought that's drama. I wasn't a big fan. I'm not a big fan because I'm a Fulham fan. I'm not a big fan of Chelsea, really. I don't mind. I like football, but at the time, Chelsea were I didn't really like the Chelsea team at the time. I think it was Mourinho actually who was managing because he had like Ballack, Lampard, Drogba, there was Terry, Carvalho, there was Cech in goal, maybe Wayne Bridges playing or Ashley Cole. So I remember some of the team then. But the Barcelona team, you had Messi, Iniesta, Xavi, maybe Eto'o, I think was playing. You had Carlos Puyol at the back, PK, I think was there. You had Victor Valdez. You had Dani Alves. Maybe Rafael Marquez was at the back as well. So I just remember that golden era because I had the orange Barcelona top.
What, out on display?
No, I didn't wear it then. No.
I was going to say, you were sitting in the Chelsea end with a Barca shirt.
I'd come home with a Chelsea smile, definitely. But yeah, of all the sporting moments I've sort of gone to, I just remember that being like such a lovely, nice present to be given. And then obviously the game did live up to the hype as well. And I got to see a Champions League semi-final, mate. So
because you were there as an impartial, so that's the thing. When you go to a live sporting event as an impartial, if like it's neither of your teams play, you just want to see a good spectacle, don't you?
You
anything on the end result. And yeah, for you, like you said, it was a Champions League semi-final. The only thing to go one better than that is the Champions League final.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing I've never gone to. I've never been to a final or something. I could have gone to the playoff final, but it was your stag. Do you remember that?
Sorry, but yeah.
I was, it's just fate, and I was just like, oh my god, like my dad went. I know my dad went, my brother went, my mum went. You know what I mean? Yeah, and my dad, bless him, he this is quite sad. He Fulham's only final before that was like the 1975 FA Cup final. And my dad remember telling me that he had saved up all these kind of tickets, like loyalty kind of tickets at the time, so that you'd get a FA Cup final ticket. And I think he got to the ticket office and they ran out of tickets, I think. And one of the players had actually come out of the stadium at the time maybe they're training, and spoke to my dad as a boy. I think maybe he was about maybe like 12, 13 at the time. Maybe I'm not too sure. And he bought my dad a ticket for the final, knowing that, like, you know, he actually went and got himself a ticket. They all sold out, and this player actually came out and gave a ticket. My dad went home to his dad, but his dad told him he couldn't go. Yeah. And I was, and it's such like a heartbreaking thing. So I'm quite glad that my dad's got to see Fulham at Wembley.
Yeah.
And I remember them sending me a picture of all them happy there. And I remember we were on the bank of the river, actually, I think, having a drink. And it was quite a nice picture. So I'm quite sad that I wasn't with them. Obviously, you know, I was with you. And was that better? I don't know.
Probably not.
No, I'm joking. But yeah, no, I'm glad my dad got to see, because I think that's a memory of him, because he's been supporting Fulham since like he was born, really, like since the 60s. So, and for you to see your team in the final is quite one thing. To actually see a final is one thing. To see your team in the final is another, really. Just on the quick side note for people, if you ever do meet Dave in real life and he ever drops in like a football prediction, place a bet on it, because it's bound to come true. Do you remember that when you said we went to go watch a Champions League game, I think around Pandas, and you said, "Oh, what do you think that the score's going to be?" It was a Chelsea game, and you went, "Oh, I think it's going to be 1-0. And I think Drogba's going to score." And I had my phone on the car, and I literally just put it on Paddy Power. I put £5 on Paddy Power, and then like we were watching it, wasn't it? And it got to the end, and you were like, "Oh, I really wish I put a bet on." And I just remember looking at you going, "Oh," and then you looked at me when you put a bet on, didn't you? And I was like, "Yeah." And I think I won like 95 quid, I think, in the end, or something like that. So it's good to know. It's good to really pick up on sporting predictions that you give, Dave. So thank you very much for that.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Right, I have I've gone back to type, really, and I have got a rugby one for you this week. Okay. So you can probably guess what it is. It's England winning the Rugby World Cup in 2003.
Wow.
What a game. What a game. I can't believe it's like 10 years.
Did you say 10 years?
No, sorry, 10. What have I got?
It's nearly 20 years.
Yeah, sorry. I've messed that up completely. Yeah. But yeah, they won with 26 seconds to go with the amazing Johnny Wilkinson drop goal. They won it. It went to extra time. So full time, in regular time, it ended 14-14 to go to extra time. And then there was I think there was a few penalties, and with 26 seconds to go, the maestro, Johnny Wilkinson, drop goal for us to win the World Cup. And
did you watch it live? Did you remember watching it live? Did you remember watching it?
Yeah, it would have been. I would have been at home. I would have been at home, because what would have been.
It was a morning kickoff here, wasn't it?
Yeah, because it was actually that was in it was in Australia. It was
on the home turf, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they lost it to us, but that was always going to happen with Johnny Wilkinson on the field. They had no chance.
Can you remember, Dave? Now again, I like to challenge you, because I know
you really do like to put me to the test. I've just got such a poor memory.
Or you just don't do enough research.
Right, yeah. Come on.
Who scored England's try?
I
know this.
You do know this? No, I think I know. I think I do know this. It's.
Tell me then, mate.
I'm pretty sure it's Jason Robinson.
Yes. Yeah. Well done.
Yeah. Again, another. That team was just the England team. Then was just littered with.
It was a golden generation, wasn't it? It had a really good balance, good coach. But didn't they say that Martin Johnson was, because you had Clive Woodward obviously managing them, but didn't they say that Martin Johnson was the real leader in that kind of team? I mean, he was was Delalio captain?
See, on that tour, I can't remember. I think Delalio did captain and Martin Johnson did. And then obviously Martin Johnson did have a time managing the England team as well, but it didn't go particularly well. Not all players can go on to manage well, but no. What did you say then? Who was captain?
But I kind of remember reading in around the time that a lot of players and people behind the scenes were saying that Martin Johnson was the main voice in that camp. Like Clive Woodward would sort of set the tactics, but Martin Johnson would be the one who they would listen to, especially in the packs and the scrums and stuff. He was like the general, if you like, of the whole thing.
I think they do have that now, because obviously you've got Eddie Jones and then you've got people like Owen Farrell, where they are the senior players and the younger players and everyone. If they respect their abilities and their talent, and they will listen. So I think that's only natural, that because obviously when you're on the pitch, you need someone with that voice. You can't hear the coach. It's not like, that's the thing. Football, the coach is always on the sideline. With rugby, they always sit quite high up and they're watching stuff on laptops and stuff. They'll get messages to the water boys and stuff, but they're not on the touchline shouting.
Poor boys. But I've just got H2O.
They do. So they've got the messages. They have the messages coming on that way, but yeah, they're not on there. So they do need like an authority figure on the pitch. And I think losing to South Africa in the way we did the other year, I think that was our golden, after beating New Zealand in the semi-final and then losing to South Africa. I think that was a golden opportunity missed. And I think the World Cup in France next year, unless that we have a big turnaround, I don't see us doing what we did in the last World Cup.
Is the World Cup next year?
France.
That's come around well quick. I think obviously because of COVID, there's been obviously a massive break in sporting tournaments and stuff. That's come around well quick. With obviously the last World Cup, I felt like the England team peaked at New Zealand, didn't they? I feel like they gave everything in that game to get through. And that South Africa test, they were just like,
I think a lot of people would agree. They did. They knew that, and they knew it's New Zealand, and they were the current world number ones or whatever. They had to throw everything at them, and they did, and they won. And they just didn't have the answer for South Africa. And I think he did come out and say afterwards that maybe he should have rotated the team a little bit more for that game. But
it's hard because like you said, you can't go second string at all against New Zealand.
No.
And then you can't go second string into the final.
No.
It was probably just the luck of the draw a little bit that maybe, I'm not saying South Africa had an easier run in, but when you play New Zealand and then you've got to play South Africa straight away in a very short space of time.
Yep.
I mean, that's solid. Side question then, who's your tip for the Rugby World Cup next year then?
Do you know what? I think France, because it's in France, France have a very, very good shout if they can stay in the form that they're in currently. But France of old, you would never normally know which French team is going to turn up. And they would always go, be a mate, and then suddenly they dip. But the Six Nations and I think their summer tests the year before, they are on something at the moment. And if they can stay, and they've got Dupont, the number 9, who's been World Player of the Year, absolutely incredible. I think if they can stay on it, they have a very, very decent shout, I think, against any team.
And has France ever won the World Cup?
I think so, yes.
I'm not putting you on the spot.
I'm sure they have. Yeah, I'm sure they have.
Right. Well, that's an interesting World Cup for next year, then, isn't it?
Let's hope so. Right, so the next topic is a mouthful. It is you said, she said, he said, they said, we said, which is quote of the week. My quote last week was a bit deep and I've kept it that way again. So it's and I'm thinking, because obviously the quote of the week can be any type of quote, can be from a book, film, movie, philosopher or whatever, but I like to keep it sort of, a bit sort of thinking and whatnot. So my quote comes from the book The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse,
right,
which is
it's
a very new book, and it's a guy that
I'm sorry for laughing. It just sounds like something like Wind in the Willows.
Yeah, no, it does, but it's a book that a guy's released that it's drawings that he's done, and then there's quotes around. And this one is... I
apologise for laughing.
You will do, because you're going to have some deep, meaningful thought after this one. So there's a boy and a horse in a woods, The boy says, "I can't see a way through." And the horse says, "Can you see your next step?" The boy said, "Yes." And the horse said, "Just take that." So what it's basically alluding to is sometimes people will go, they have this end goal, they've got this massive thing they want to do in life, but they have no idea how they're going to get there. And it's just saying, if you can see your next step, just take that and just do one step at a time. As long as you can see that next step, just take that step. And before you know it, your goal will be getting closer and closer, or whatever you want to achieve. So I don't know if it's you want to learn a new language, weight loss, get stronger, fitter, or whatever. You might not know how to get there, but if you can see your next step, just do that. Complete that step, then take the next one. Don't worry about, because people worry about a long-term goal and how they're going to achieve it. Just put it into tiny bite-sized steps.
It's a very sweet anecdote to put in, actually. It sounds like it would really help someone who is suffering from something quite deep, isn't it? Someone who's probably maybe has given up on something, or maybe just don't really feel like they've got a lot of hope, and just taking that small step.
That's what it's,
yeah.
That's what is basically saying, because sometimes people, some stuff can be quite daunting. How am I ever going to do that? How am I ever going to do that? Bite-sized little steps.
Definitely. No, definitely. That's quite a really sweet quote to actually put. What book is this again? Sorry.
The book is called The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse.
And who's it? And is it a collection of quotes, or is it by the same person? Or
same person. It's illustrated with. It's. I've seen it. I should have got the bloody author's name, shouldn't I? That would have really been useful. But yeah, it's fairly new, and it seems like it's quite popular. But that one really, stuck out to me.
That's a very nice contribution, Dave. I feel very enlightened.
That's what I'm trying to do. That's why, as I said at the beginning, I was going to do an office quote from David Brent, but I thought, no, let's go a bit better. We can do one better than that.
Oh, I think we'll just end the podcast there.
Right, guys, thanks for listening. No, I'm joking. We need yours. We need yours.
Okay. Well, I'm kind of looking at mine, and I should have really researched a little bit more. I should have really I'm just looking at this because the person who said it, very famous person. It was a quote by Anne Frank. But I'm just looking at it thinking I need to double check she actually did say this. I was having a look at loads of quotes and stuff. Anyway, according to wherever I found it, apparently Anne Frank was quoted in one of her diary entries of saying, "Whoever is happy will make others happy too." And I think that's quite a nice thing to kind of just try and put into your everyday life, is just, if you're happy, it sort of spreads happiness. And even if you feel down, even just chatting to someone in the shops, or making conversation, or spread a smile, open a door for someone, just anything, you really don't know where your action is really going to take. Do you know what I mean? And maybe just giving someone a compliment you don't really know of, I try to do that where I can when I'm meeting new people, especially in my job when I'm working with teachers and stuff, is say something that they're not expecting, and it might actually just raise a smile, and that happiness will spread you around. Obviously, you being happy in yourself and being happy who you are and where you are in life is quite important. But if you surround yourself with positive people, happy people, that's it's contagious, isn't it?
It's that old one. It's nice to be nice.
Yes.
It's nice to be nice.
I don't know if Anne Frank said that.
No, I don't think so.
But I will double check that she did say that, because I'm just looking at that thinking, because obviously Anne Frank was famous for her diary entries, obviously through World War II, and obviously her diary was obviously found after she was obviously taken by the Nazis, and so I just need to double check that. But I think the quote is very sweet, and I still think it's very simple just to put in. And I tell you what, if you combine that with your one, I think that's such a lovely quote of the weeks to base your week on, isn't it, David?
What a great section! What a great section!
our next topic is a brand new one that we've included for this week. We've relegated, I'm not too sure what I've relegated, but we've promoted something into the topic agenda. And this is a game actually we used to do when we used to go out, and some people might have actually seen it around viral as well. We call it What's Your Price? And what it is that we will be hypothetically giving each other a situation, a scenario, a challenge, and asking them how much would it cost, would they take to actually do that challenge, hypothetically. And the other person is going to try haggle them down to the lowest price possible and see what their lowest price is. So what's your price? I'll start. Right. So Dave, my challenge for you. So you've been, yeah, well, this could be anything, can it? You've been to Piccadilly Circus, haven't you, in London?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and obviously peak time, tourists, hundreds and hundreds of people, maybe thousands of people all there, got their cameras out and everything, right? What is your price for you to run from Leicester Square all the way through Piccadilly Circus and hop on the first bus you see naked, streaking through the centre of London? What's your price?
And then when I get to the bus, can I put the clothes back on?
No, you just got to sit in the bus and go home.
Yeah,
I've added that. I've added that on. Yeah, you just got to sit. Yeah, run through Leicester Square, through Piccadilly Circus, jump on the bus. You just got to sit there, just take the bus home.
The bus, I don't think any buses come my way, so I think I'd have to do a bus and 2 trains. Okay, well then you got to take two. You got to take a bus and 2 trains to get home. Then what's your price? What's my price? Run through. You know what? It's not that. It's not that. I mean, it's bad. It is bad, but there's no sort of like there's no fear element. It's not anything.
Well, everyone's got cameras. It will literally be on social media in a split second. Some people might even live stream it because they might even not know what's going on.
But then if I go, okay, so if I say to you, my price is 100k, and you go, well, it's going to be on social media, and then if I make the news, I go, well, but I've got 100k out of it, so what's the problem?
Okay, well, it sounds like you would accept quite a low amount. Right? Okay, so if you're going to accept 100k, if I had a suitcase now with 50 grand, £50,000 cash, would you accept it?
Well, no, because you've cut me at the knees there halfway. So
it's haggling. That's what you do.
Yeah, exactly. You can't cut me halfway. You got to improve on that.
Okay, well counter off me then. Come on.
You got to improve on that. You can't go straight to half.
£60,000. I mean that's good enough for a big put down on a mortgage or anything like that. I mean I could tick a lot of boxes, Dave.
No, let's. I'll come down 90. So
if I say 65k, 65,000 in cash, it's just yours, no tax, no nothing.
I mean, see, in the grand scheme of things, that's a lot of money. But you're saying you changed it anyway. So I'm running from Leicester Square through Piccadilly.
I've got you down to 90 already. So
I've got to go all the way home. Go all the way home. That's a good 2 hours of my life. I might be cold.
Well, there might be a newspaper on the bus. You could just wrap yourself in. I mean, just
not 90 for me.
So if I said 70, I'm going to go to £75,000.
See now you're moving because now you come halfway.
75 grand cash, all yours.
All right, I'll do 75.
What about 70?
No, 75. You said 75. You can't take it away now.
72 and a half.
75.
74,999.
Yeah, okay, I'll take it.
So your price to run through from Leicester Square, Piccadilly Circus, on a bus, 2 trains, naked, £74,999.
Yep. And if there's any listener that has that kind of cash and wants to see me do it, get in touch.
Can you imagine if someone got in touch and went, I'm willing to part with that amount of money for you to do it? Would you actually do it?
Yeah.
Do you know, I also have in my notes that I was willing to give you a discount.
For what?
Well, you could wear one item of clothing.
What, like a sock?
Well, a sock. You could wear pants if you want, or boxers, but then you'd have to cut. You'd have to take a 10 grand cut.
That's still right. So I was at 70, 75 or 65 just to run around in boxers. That's all right.
Yeah, I'd have to hag you down that. Anyway,
It's not
okay.
too
So
bad, is
you're
it?
okay. So let's say 75. Oh, okay. So I got you down from 100 to 75. That's not bad haggling.
Yeah,
Right.
25.
Go on then. What have you got for me?
Well, I think I've been a bit smart because I think this is going to play on a fear. So, do
Oh.
you remember what one of the things where what we did on your stag,
Yeah.
which was what for the listeners?
Well, the zip line.
Yeah, and you weren't keen, were you? You did
It's
it.
it's weird because I've been zip lining in before in Costa Rica, and I remember doing like a 1K Superman one. But I think I was in the zone, and also you didn't sort of see the ending, and I don't think it wasn't as fast as the one in Wales, and you could see all the way down the pit. And I think also coming up and seeing people zoom down, and you just hear everyone. And I hate the feeling of free falling. I think that's where you're going to go with this, and that's why I think I got worked up. But I was fine though, because once you start going, you hit that kind of terminal velocity where you hit that maximum speed. You can't go any further, and you just feel like you're cruising. So okay, yeah, go on.
Because once you, like you just said, once you start, well, I mean, once you're going, there's nothing you can do about it, you're going.
Yeah.
So I think I've done well then. So massive bridge, big jump, bungee jump. What are you saying?
How high? I mean, what we kind of give me some sort of rough height.
Oh, like those ones you see on the internet. They're like high, and you've got the water, and like as you go down, your hair might even touch into the water underneath.
Make me a bit sick.
I thought this would be a good one. I thought this would play on a fear.
I'm trying to play it in my head.
You got to throw yourself off a bridge, and there's the only thing that is securing you to the bridge is that bungee rope.
See, I've got no issue of being attached by a rope. I've got nothing issue about that. It's the free fall and the jerk back up, especially the jerk. Because it's like I've never been parachuting. I like to think I'd have the guts to do it, but it's that I've seen videos where obviously when that parachute gets released, it just jerks everything up. And it's that feeling that I don't like at all. Oh,
because that was going to be, I was thinking about parachute jump as well for this, but I thought bungee because the free falling element.
I'm going quite high on this, Dave.
Go on. What are we talking? How high?
I've got 2 million in my head.
Wow, 2 million.
Yeah.
2 million. Okay, so I'll play the same game as you now. I'm going to cut you off at the knees. £1 million. So I gave you £1 million. £1 million. You wouldn't jump. You wouldn't do it. $1 million. Think of everything you could do for $1 million. That's not a deposit. That could be like mortgage free. You mortgage free with $1 million and have money left over. You won 2 million. That's how I know I got you good there.
Yeah, but also I've gone high, so then you have to offer me something ridiculously high as well. I mean, if I said like £100 and you go, well, I'll give you 50 quid, it's like, well, what's the point? So I've been quite strategic and gone, well, if it's something I'm very fearful of, and I'm not like fearful of heights, it's just that free fall and jerking that I really would not like. And I'm picturing like one of those massive bridges, like in the Alps or something, that you just have to, and especially those pendulum swings. You've seen those pendulum swings that people jump off cliffs. That's worse. That's even worse because you're literally are free falling, and all of a sudden that swing will just. And can you imagine like your insides just being at the back of your spine? Like,
I think that looks amazing. I think it looks fun. I'm all about that. I do that kind of stuff.
So if you had £1 million in cash, would I take it? I'm going to say, yeah, I probably would.
I think you'd be mad not to.
Yeah, but I don't. But I think we have to shake on hands there and not go any lower.
That's fine. That's your price. I was expecting you to start at $1 million. So
okay,
$2
million. So I'm going to put it out there as well. Has anyone got £1 million? Just keep it to yourself because I don't want to do it anyway.
Right, okay, and the last topic of the day is Would You Rather, where we put two things against each other and ask you, would you rather? So this week is Ben. What have you got for us?
Right, it's on the superhero theme
Okay.
because everyone loves a superhero,
Mhm.
and it really comes down to if you are a Marvel's fan or a DC fan. Because would you rather be part of the Avengers or would you rather be part of the Justice League?
Oh, okay.
So you're going to come down one side or the other and compare it to the cinematic films. Avengers have had massive, massive success with the franchise, where Justice League has a bit of hit and miss. Although I think that's a bit cruel. I quite like some of the Justice League films. But on one side, you've got Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Spider-Man. On the other, you've got Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. I mean, you've got some strong DC superheroes there. So what team are you going to join, Dave? What team would you rather be part of? And also, you could also think about this type of villains because the Avengers only really deal with aliens and villains from other planets, where the DC characters, although your Superman does have that, but Batman deals with like real life villains, didn't they? So you could put that into the mix as well. Also, like, do you like how they work as a team, like, and where they're based? Maybe their powers as well, their friendships. I mean, there's a lot more just than, oh, I like Iron Man, I'm just going to go join him. So what team would you rather be part of, Dave?
Oh, that's a good one, really, to be honest. I do like, I mean, so I think I'm possibly just going in my head who I think's cool and who I like. So I'm Batman, because obviously he's really a normal guy who's just got a ton of money and he's got really cool fucking gadgets. He's got such cool gadgets and equipment. But then Iron Man, bit the same, isn't he? But then he's obviously got the whatever the thing with the power for his heart and the chest, whatever that is. So he's got a bit of something in him, hasn't he? He's not just like Batman. He is just normal man. And then I've always it's like Spider-Man, like being able to just how he can swing from buildings and shoot webs. That's he Spider-Man, yeah, Spider-Man, Batman. I'm a bit of Spider-Man and Batman.
And you got Superman as well. That's just like has everything basically.
Yeah, I mean Superman be able to fly. That's got to be up there and so strong. But then a little rock can make him so weak. Bit of kryptonite, a little bit of rock. A little bit of rock. That's like got all that power, and I can stand next to him with some kryptonite in my bag or in my pocket, and he's going to be useless.
Yeah, but it's not limestone, is it? You know, it's a alien rock from another planet. That's not like
but we are.
You'd be quite cruel with him, I think.
Really, you think?
It's not like you just get a bit of limestone or granite and throw it at him, and he goes, "Oh, I can't move anymore." Like, it has to be kryptonite. It's got to be quite specific.
Well, yeah, I know, but he's still a bit of a downfall and a weakness in my opinion for someone that's so strong and powerful. Then you do have like Thor and his hammer. I mean, that's a very good film. Do you know what? What way would you lean? What way are you leaning, or do I have to give my final opinion before?
I'd rather you give it, and I'd rather you choose this side of the century. No, I'm joking.
I'm going to go with. I'm thinking. I'm going with. I think I'm going to go Batman's crew.
Oh, I thought you were going to go Avengers the way you were speaking.
No, I think I'm going to go Batman's crew.
Why?
Because
what's the overriding factor?
I think if you throw, I'll tell you what. I think if you throw in, like we were saying with the villains, so stuff like, I mean, with the Joker, when Heath Ledger played the Joker, that's an incredible film, incredible. And also, have you seen the new Joker?
I have seen. Yeah, it was a deleted scene. Yeah.
No, not the deleted scene.
Yeah, there was. I haven't seen the film The Batman with Robert Pattinson, but there was a deleted scene of the new Joker that was included. Is that what you're talking about?
No, there's actually a film, The Joker.
Oh, right. So you're actually talking about the Joaquin Phoenix film. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you throw in the villains and that kind of stuff, that's what I've gone, for me, that side.
So you'd rather be part of that team fighting those kind of villains?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I think I'm with you. it's a bit darker in the Justice League, and I quite like that. If you're like mates of Batman, and you also got mates of Superman, and then you had a chance of dating Wonder Woman, I think you've got to take it, really. Because I've got to be honest, but the thing, I'm probably speaking from a man's point of view here, but obviously I don't like Black Widow in the Avengers. I don't think she's a superhero. I mean, I'll probably get done for that, but Wonder Woman, like, she's awesome, isn't she? I quite like the films, and I think Gal Gadot is a wicked Wonder Woman. Yeah, I think I'd rather be part of that team. So I'm with you. So that's our poll this week: is what team would you rather be? Are you Team Avengers or are you Team Justice League? And what would you rather be part of? Vote on our Twitter poll. Is it on? We could do a Spotify poll. Is that right as well?
I'm going to try to. I think I had problems last week with it, but I will try and put it on the Spotify one as well.
Cool. And it's definitely on Twitter because you could do the 7-day duration. So, and we will release the results on our social media, and that'd be quite cool. So there you have it.
Another week
all
done.
Topics done, or another week done. Thank you very much for listening, if you're still with us. So hello to our wives again. Do spread us around on your social media networks if you want to. Where can they find us, Dave?
So currently we are on Anchor, we're on Spotify, and we are on Amazon Music, and I hope by the time you'll hear it this, we will also be on Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts.
And they can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube.
We are everywhere.
Are we on Friends Reunited yet? Did you manage to do that?
No, the site wouldn't let me on there for some reason. I'm not too sure why.
Well, we're not going to make it then.
I need to contact the support.
Or Bebo, MySpace. Do you know what? That's my next week to bring it back. There you go. But no, thank you very much for joining us. And we'll see you again next week. I've been Ben.
I've been Dave.
And enjoy your waffles. Laters.
Peace.
Peace.